Feels like the world forgot you, huh? I know. You feel like you got left behind. Your friends got married and had the children, got the boobs and the tummy tuck, in great careers or businesses, making all kinds of money. And they're taking trips you wanted to take, writing books you wanted to write, obtaining degrees you wanted to obtain, recording songs like you wanted to, being on stage like you wanted to, contributing to life in ways that you dreamed of. And all you have is trouble. And you're thinking, what about me? Why can't I have those things? The world may have forgotten you, but now you're remembering. And you're right on time. And you're learning how to know yourself after trauma buried your identity. Big Up Yourself originals. And if you don't feel like bigging up yourself right now, hopefully you will by the end of this episode. And I invite you to subscribe to the channel for more soul nourishment. Please do like the video and leave a comment, a kind comment. Okay? Thank you. So let's talk. Do you feel like you're not sure who you are? And have you ever felt like life erased who you were meant to be? Do you feel invisible? Like life forgot about you? You are not alone. Many of us feel this way, but even if the world forgot about you, I want you to begin to remember you, to remember who you are. Let's address some of these feelings you have and how to know yourself after trauma buried your identity and how visualization can help you reconnect. Too many of us have no clue who we are or how to access the more that is you. Yeah, there's more to you than meets the eye. You may feel broken or you may feel like nothing much, but I want you to hear me when I say this. You are actually extraordinary. If you believe that or want to believe it, I want you to type in the comments this one word, extraordinary. If you believe or if you want to believe that you're extraordinary, type that one word in the comments, extraordinary. And I challenge you to right this moment, think, I am more than meets the eye. You really can't see me with your naked eye. There is more to me than you can ever fathom. So you don't get to dismiss me anymore because I know that there is something divinely sacred about me. So, no, you're not broken. You are who you are. Beneath the layers of pain and suffering and turmoil and frustration and shame and anger, under all of that lies your original sacred self. The version of you that was born for love, wholeness, prosperity, and joy. Can you imagine? You were made for joy? Would you allow that to just put a smile on your face right now? You were made for joy. Let that sink in. So in this soul nourishing conversation, I share how visualization and mental rehearsal can be powerful tools to help you remember and reclaim your true self. Backed by ancient wisdom and modern science, these practices help you quantum shift your inner narrative and heal self-esteem and rebuild your sense of worth from the inside out. Your worth is not all about the things that you accumulate on the exterior, but we want to rebuild your worth from the inside out. And I've broken down the talk in 4 sections. Section 1, how to know yourself after trauma and how trauma distorts identity. Section 2, reclaiming the sacred self because your identity existed before pain. And I'll share some reclamation techniques. Section 3, awakening the original you from survival to creation. And Section 4, your call to action to reclaim what's always been yours. So Section 1, how to know yourself after trauma. How does trauma distort identity? Emotional wounds and childhood trauma can make us feel unworthy. From an early age, our sense of self is shaped by how we are treated, especially by caregivers, family, and authority figures. If when you were little or younger, you are neglected, criticized, abused in some way, or abandoned, you will internalize the pain, and that will cause you to feel bad about yourself. And you carry this deep sense of toxic shame where you begin to see yourself as broken rather than wounded. And although these feelings started from way back when you were much younger, that distorted belief can follow you into adulthood, silently informing how you show up in relationships, how you speak to yourself, and what you believe you deserve. You pick the wrong partners. You hang out with low quality people. You become a self bully and you stay broke because on some level you don't believe you deserve more. If you've been thinking there's something wrong with you, that you're bad and not deserving of better, if you're still thinking that, I want you to start saying this instead. I am not what happened to me. Yes, unspeakable things happened to me. And I am amazing because I survived all those terrible things. So we have two voices that we observe. There's the inner critic versus the inner truth. The voice of your inner critic is often born from trauma. It mimics the negative words or judgments we heard growing up. Things like, you're too much, you'll never be good enough, be quiet. You had people in your life that didn't really listen to you, probably still don't. They made you feel unimportant and made you go silent, afraid of trusting your voice. Because why? Nobody cares anyway. So, you might have had different ideas, creative ideas, but you were made to feel like you are lazy. So you don't pursue your good ideas. Over time, this voice of the critic has become a constant mental loop, limiting your choices and suppressing your authentic self. But beneath that critic is the inner truth, the voice of the original self that knows you were born worthy, lovable, and powerful. If you're not willing to believe that voice, you will stay stuck. And your naysayers and your abusers win. Do not let them win one more game at your expense. Visualization and inner work will help you reconnect with this sacred voice. It's still in you, still there, patient, intuitive, and waiting to be heard again. And here's how you can start right now, speaking to the truth within you. Type in the comments which voice you will believe from now on, the inner critic or the inner truth. Type 1, inner critic or inner truth. So what gets buried beneath shame and survival? When we stay in survival mode, as many trauma survivors live our lives in survival mode, we often suppress parts of ourselves just to get through life. Joy, curiosity, vulnerability, and creativity can get buried under the need to feel safe and accepted. We shrink to fit in. We silence ourselves to avoid conflict and deny our dreams so we're not seen as too much. But those buried parts are often the truest expression of who we are. Healing is the journey of uncovering them, those truest parts of us, and honoring them and bringing them back into the light. Pursue healing with all your might. Pursuing healing is equal to pursuing you. You want to get to know the best of you. You want to obtain your highest self. You want to operate as your highest self. So, what was your identity before the pain? We're in section 2. Long before the wounds, the rejection, or the silence, you were whole. Think about this. You were born whole, nothing missing. There was a time when your spirit was untouched by shame or fear, when you moved with confidence, curiosity, and innate worth. You had dreams and gifts and talents to make those dreams come true. That version of you still exists. Visualization invites you to reconnect with that original self, the one who knew they were enough before the world said otherwise. The soul itself is not broken. It's buried. Trauma really didn't steal your identity. It just obscured it, hid it. That's trauma. Traumaing. Trauma is going to do what trauma does if we don't put a stop to it. Trauma is on its job. We need to be on ours. And instead of trauma burying us, we need to bury trauma. How about that? You are not broken. You are buried on the layers of survival. What you call brokenness is often just brilliance hidden by coping. Trauma causes us to split from our true essence in order to protect ourselves. But your soul did not disappear. It simply went underground, waiting for a safe space to rise again. You can use ancient practices like visualization to create that space where you can begin to gently uncover what was never lost. I am not broken. I am remembering who I was before the world forgot me. Type that in the comments. Type, I am remembering. As a matter of fact, be bold. Type, I am not broken. I am remembering. Make it a public statement. You know, the simple act of typing that message begins to train your brain to believe and to help you act out. Truly. But let's talk about the role of self-compassion and spiritual remembrance. In sacred self-reclamation, healing is not about fixing yourself. It's about remembering who you really, really are. Be gentle with yourself. Self-compassion becomes the bridge between who you've been and who you're becoming. You hear that? You are becoming who you are. Let that sink in. And as I like to say, you are catching up with the original you, because that part was always there, thriving like it was meant to. So as you release judgment and welcome tenderness, you start to feel the truth. You are sacred. I teach visualization practices to help awaken this truth, not just intellectually, but emotionally and energetically, making the sacred self feel real again. I want to share with you a few techniques that can help support this reclamation. Very brief. I want you to visualize your future self. This is future self visualization, also mental rehearsal. See and feel yourself as the healed, powerful version of you, confident, clear, and whole. Let that version guide your choices. You can practice. This is one of my favorite things to do in visualization, the healing light practice. Call on divine universal energy to bathe your body and mind in light, dissolving shame and filling you with truth and peace. And then mirror work. This is kind of awkward to get started doing, but speak to your reflection. Look in the mirror and speak to your reflection with love. Look into your own eyes and affirm your worth, your beauty, your strength. Do that until your spirit remembers. Now, you might need coaching and guidance to access those parts of you that have been buried and to practice these techniques effectively. Click on the link in the description to join our visualization clinic where I guide you as we practice together. Section 3, Awakening the Original You. Now, what we want is to go from survival to creation. Okay, somebody said, oh, this one liberated me. So the best way to predict the future is to create it. So go from just surviving in life, just accepting whatever comes, to consciously creating the things you want and creating that better you. Healing is not just about feeling better. It's about becoming whole again. When you move from surviving your story to creating your future, you stop living the script that trauma wrote and start writing your own. Visualization can help you shift from replaying those old wounds to rehearsing new possibilities. So we can rewrite that inner narrative. Every time you visualize your renewed you, you're planting seeds in your subconscious, telling your brain, body, and spirit an updated story about who you are and what you deserve. This is how transformation begins. Not by force, but by repetition, emotional resonance, and belief. It's the sacred work of remembering the truth and retraining the mind to follow it. So you can become a vibrational match for your worth. The original you, the sacred self, vibrates at a frequency of love, clarity, and power. As you practice seeing yourself through the eyes of spirit, rather than the lens of trauma, you align with the life you were meant to live. And then healing becomes less about fixing what's wrong and more about amplifying what's divine in you. And last section, 4, your call to action to reclaim what's always been yours. You've journeyed through truth, trauma, and the sacred self. Now it's time to take the next step, not just by understanding what's possible, but by experiencing it for yourself. Try a visualization practice today. Start small, start gently, but start. Close your eyes, take a breath, and imagine yourself as whole, powerful, and loved. What do you look like? That person that you're visualizing. How do you feel? Let that vision guide your steps. The vision of the whole, true, sacred you. And you don't have to get it just right. Just be willing to believe that more is possible. Visualization is not pretending. It is remembering. You are not who trauma said you were. You are not the labels, the wounds, or the silence. You're not too broken, too late, or too much. You're not lazy, and you're not behind. You are sacred, You are seen. You are still here. And that means healing is too. If you're still here, that means healing is still here as well. You are not who trauma said you were. You are who you are. Now is the time to make the world remember, because now you remember, to reclaim, to rise. You're invited to join the visualization community. If this message speaks to your soul, don't walk this road alone. Come deeper. My guided clinic is a sacred space where we practice together, supported by community and spiritual tools that help you unlock what's been buried so that you can know yourself after trauma. This is your opportunity to move from knowing to embodying your healing, week by week, breath by breath. The link to the clinic is in the description box. And finally, I want to leave you with one affirmation. We're going to repeat the affirmation from earlier. I am not broken. I am remembering who I was before the world forgot me. If you made it this far in the video, type I remember. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. And I'll see you next week for another nourishing chat.